Hi guys, Natalie, Barton here, dental hygienist. So today we're going to talk about the Colorado Dental Association and their passing of a resolution to allow dental assistants to do periodontal probings and scaling. Let's talk about it. Okay, well this came as somewhat of a shock this last week and somewhat not of a shock, honestly, to me. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But first I want to read the resolution to you guys. So if you're not in Colorado, or even if you are in Colorado and you don't exactly know what I'm talking about, this will clear that up a little bit. Because of this, the CDA House of Delegates overwhelmingly passed resolution number 32-23 with a 72-17 vote. The resolution states that CDA will develop and submit a Sunrise Review application to expand the dental assistant scope of practice by December of 2023. That should include scope, supervision, training, and any licensing requirements to allow for dental assistants to do probing, periodontal probing, and calculus removal under direct supervision of a dentist. What this means: no laws have changed at this time regarding the dental assistant scope. Colorado Department of Regulatory Agencies has a process called Sunrise where they can evaluate regulation of an existing profession that is not currently regulated. CDA has until December of 2023 to submit the Sunrise application, and DORA will develop a report and recommendations by June of 2024. So I would imagine in the next year or two, we're going to be out of a job. So that's the gist of it. I don't know, there's so many concerns, like where do you start? The wording in that is not very specific. So periodontal probing, okay, that annoys me because that was part of our boards. You had to be very accurate in order to pass your boards, and that takes time and training. This is not going to be like a 6-week training program. And then you have the scaling, calculus scaling under supervision of a dentist, all right, but it doesn't say supergingival, which some states allow for dental assistants to remove supergingival calculus. It just says calculus removal. So are they going to, and that might show up later, but does that mean that they're going to be scaling subgingivally with very little to no training? Obviously they're not becoming hygienists, so they will be doing our job, and the dentists get a great deal because they will maybe up their pay $5 or $10 and put the rest of us all out of business. I mean, I can see what's in it for the dentists. I feel really scared for the patients. I mean, it takes us 2 years to learn how to scale without doing any damage. Now, I have worked for dentists that insist on doing cleanings, and they get 2 weeks. When I was in school, we had dental students come to us and, like, I don't know, maybe a couple days prior to their boards test, and they would come to us hygienists and they'd go, "What's this tool? What does it do? Like, what are you supposed to do with this?" And they didn't even know what the tools were or how you were supposed to use them, and they're supposed to scale in order to pass some of their boards, right? So I don't know what they're taking off, but I've worked for people, like I said, who actually do scale, and I do a lot of cleanup after those guys and gals. And unless they were hygienists previously and then became dentists, like they don't know what they're doing. And I'm sorry, but there are some things that we are better at, and scaling is one of them because that's what we focus on. Like, I wouldn't expect to do a phenomenal crown prep because I've never done one. But I don't understand. Why? Yes, we have a horrible shortage, right? Like we had 80,000 hygienists quit during COVID. And a lot of them were getting towards retirement age, and they said, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm out. Others were young and had young children and said, I don't want to put my kids at risk because we didn't know this wasn't really going to affect the children. So they quit. And that left those of us that were like, well, universal precautions, let's just do it, and stayed with it. But there weren't enough of us, and to graduate new people is going to take time to get the market back to where it was. And dentists are getting very frustrated. I work as a temp. I've seen it the last 3 years. I know they're frustrated. But at the same time, they're having a hard time. Those of us that are temping, they're having a very hard time baiting us back out of temping because one, we make way more money temping, and two, we don't have to deal with drama or politics in the office or any other stuff that really is kind of a downside to dentistry for us. And I feel like during my career, hygienists have very much been taken advantage of by dentists in a lot of ways. And I could probably do an entire video on that. And this provided us the opportunity to kind of make up for that. And I think a lot of hygienists have taken advantage of that. And some of them have taken too much advantage of that. So there is a point where you are taking advantage then of the dentists, the way they did to you. And while that may feel fair in some ways, you have to understand they will retaliate by doing this kind of thing. The reason I say that is I work off of Cloud Dentistry, the app, and I love it. But because I work on Cloud Dentistry, I can see what like the average hygienist in the Denver area is charging. Okay, and it is way more than I was being paid 3 years ago. A lot more, which is awesome. However, that's the average. And I happen to know that there are people that are working off of Cloud Dentistry that are charging between $80 and $90 per hour for cleanings. And I feel like at this point that is taking advantage of the dentists, and you are creating bad will for the rest of us, which will then create this kind of a situation where they go, we're just going to bypass you. We don't need you. We will train our dental assistants. They'll do it for $30 and they will be happy because that's a huge increase for them, and it completely puts us out of the market. And so I've been probably not as vocal as I should have been about, hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's take it a little easy, because if we create this bad will between the dentists and the hygienists, which yes, there has been previously on our end because we were being taken advantage of, it switches. But these guys are the ones that keep us in business, right? Like we work for them. So if you piss them off, like, we're not going to have a job. So now there's talk of we need to, obviously, everybody needs to get with the American Dental Hygiene Association. We need to unionize. We need to, it's creating this war. So instead of us with our dentists sitting down and going, okay, the reason we don't want to quit temping is X, Y, and Z. You could bait me out of that by changing this part of your office or this policy in your office, or by being more fair here to us. I think we could come up with a nice compromise, but there's this like action, reaction going on right now. And I don't see it going well in the long run. I'm hoping we can stop this before it gets super ugly and I have to quit hygiene in like 2 years because won't be able to find work anymore unless I'm willing to take a pay cut to, below what I started making before, like when I started working. I don't know where we're headed with this, but it doesn't feel good to me. I really don't like that the dentists have done this. The dental assistants are amazing. They do so much work, and honestly, they don't get paid enough for what they do. So I would like to see them get a pay raise as well. Not necessarily for expanded duties. I think they have enough to do, honestly. I have seen some really completely run the office. The dentist comes in to do checks here and there, and that's it. And they do everything else. It's not just they're helping set up and hand you instruments. They are doing a lot of the work, which I don't think is legal, but I do see it quite often. Really, for a dental office to work well, you need the team to have their own duties, do their own duties, help each other where they can, and just make it a more pleasant experience for everybody. And this is going to create, I think, a lot of hard feelings between different staff in the office. if there are different staff in the office, maybe they'll just have dental assistants. They can do everything. I mean, I've seen them up front, I've seen them in the back, so go girls go. But yeah, I'm not sure where that leaves hygienists. We go through a lot of training. We do a lot of educating with our patients. I know a lot of people just think we just sit there and flick crap off their teeth, but like we're doing a lot, and we're trying to educate, and we're trying to, I do nutritional counseling at times. I do all kinds of stuff, and that's not something you're to learn in a 6-week program where you're just pulling tartar off teeth. And if I'm finding tartar and calculus, obviously, underneath gums from the dentist doing a cleaning, what the heck are we going to end up with when assistants with like a 6-week course or something are now scaling? Like, everybody's going to have periodontal disease, and I will be relegated to only doing scaling and root plantings. Some hygienists love that. I do not. My hands cannot handle gobs of scaling and root planting. I can do like one a day. That's it. So that's not where I want my career to be, where I'm just relegated to perio offices now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I don't like that this has happened. I see why it's happened. I do see from the dentist's perspective why it's happened. I'm very curious. I'm watching the hygiene boards, just looking at the discussion going on, what's going on, what people are saying. And yeah, I guess at this point we'll just wait to see it play out. But I don't know, what are your thoughts? Do you live in a state where they allow assistants to scale and do perio probings, or no? What do you think about Colorado doing this? And do you think it'll actually get passed? I'm thinking it's gonna. There's, like I said, there's a lot of hard feelings out there right now, and I think this is gonna happen. So, all right, comment below, like and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. Got some fun videos on the way if I ever have time to record them. It is a busy, busy summer, but miss you guys. So take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.